It was summer in New York City. The nights were hot, vibrant, filled with youth and freedom. Couples gathered in cars, friends walked the streets, and the city's endless hum carried on. But beneath the lively atmosphere, something was spreading. Between 1976 and 1977, a killer terrorized New York in a cruel and unpredictable way. He didn't choose his victims for money, power, or revenge. He killed because a force commanded him. A dog, he claimed, gave him orders, and he obeyed. David Berkowitz was the name behind the terror. A seemingly ordinary man, a lonely mailman, almost invisible, but at night he transformed into something dark. The son of Sam. Armed with a .44 caliber revolver, he randomly targeted mainly young couples and women. Shooting without mercy, chaos spread. Women changed their hairstyles. People avoided going out at night. New York plunged into collective panic. But why did he do it? What lurked behind the eyes of that seemingly ordinary man? A delusion? A repressed desire to destroy happiness? Or something deeper, older, and more twisted? In this video, we will reconstruct the terror caused by a serial killer who claimed to talk to the devil through a dog. A man who killed on impulse, obedience, or pleasure. Perhaps all three. Before we dive into this disturbing story, like the video, subscribe to the channel and comment. Do you believe David Berkowitz really heard voices? Or was it a cold excuse to justify the horror? David Berkowitz's victims shared one thing: youth, freedom, and the hope for a future that would never come. He didn't choose by name or story. He hunted symbols: young couples in cars, women with long dark hair, teenagers smiling on warm nights, unaware they were marked for death. The first victim, 18-year-old Donna Lauria, was killed in July 1976. She was sitting in a car with her friend Jody Valenti when David approached and shot her with a .44 caliber pistol. Donna died instantly. Jody survived. The attack seemed random, but it wasn't the last, and soon, a pattern emerged. In the following months, he attacked again, always at night, in residential neighborhoods. Places where young people gathered to talk, kiss, and date. His approaches were quick, almost surgical. David approached on foot or by car, pulled out his weapon, fired, and vanished into the darkness within seconds. Christine Freund and Virginia Voskerikian, for example, also had long brown hair like Donna. The similarity made women in New York drastically change their looks, cutting hair, dyeing it blonde, trying somehow to escape the pattern that seemed to attract the killer. The impact of the crimes was immediate. New York, a city accustomed to urban violence, plunged into a more primitive fear: the fear of being chosen at random. The fear of the irrational. There was no dispute, no revenge. People were dying simply for being in the wrong place, and with the wrong hair, at the wrong time. The victims left behind devastated families, interrupted futures, and grief, without logical explanation. For many parents, the nightmare was not just losing a child, but not knowing why exactly that child. David didn't know them, yet he destroyed them. David Berkowitz didn't kill on sudden impulse. He waited, watched, studied his targets with a coldness that turned New York's dark alleys into his hunting ground. His victims had no idea they were being watched until the sharp crack of gunfire pierced the night, and it was too late. After the first murder of Donna Lauria in July 1976, Berkowitz struck again, just 3 months later. In October, Carl Denaro and Rosemary Keenan were sitting in a car when bullets shattered the glass. Carl survived with severe head injuries. Rosemary escaped. Still, no one suspected the beginning of a series. In November, he attacked teenagers Donna DeMasi and Joanne Lomeno. Joanne was paralyzed from the waist down. In January 1977, Christine Freund was killed while with her fiancé in their car. She died before reaching the hospital. But the crime that really shocked the city occurred in March 1977. When Virginia Voskerikian, a college student, was shot in the head on a sidewalk, returning from class. She tried to shield herself with her books, a haunting image etched into the city's memory. A student with books in her arms, lying dead on the pavement for no reason. From then on, the pattern was clearer. Young women with long dark hair, usually accompanied by boyfriends, in cars or walking home. Fear took hold. Parks emptied. Shops closed early. The police stepped up patrols, but the killers stayed a step ahead. In April, Valentina Suriani and Alexander Asa were killed in a parked car. But what made this crime different was what Berkowitz left behind, a letter. In it, he called himself the Son of Sam, beginning a sadistic communication with the media, the city, and the collective fear. The killings were no longer just crimes. They became a performance, a psychological war between a killer who wanted to be seen and a city desperate for peace. It was in the letter, left after the murder of Valentina Suriani and Alexander Asa, that David Berkowitz ceased to be just a killer. There he proclaimed himself the Son of Sam. The letter was disturbing, written in a theatrical tone, filled with dark metaphors and disjointed phrases about blood, sacrifices, and orders from an evil force. From then on, it was clear Berkowitz didn't kill out of impulse or frustration. He believed he was on a mission. According to him, his neighbor Sam Carr was a demon in disguise, and his dog Harvey transmitted the orders to kill. Berkowitz claimed the voices haunted him day and night, demanding blood, and he obeyed. The press got hold of the letter. Son of Sam became a headline everywhere. He wrote to the police and reporter Jimmy Breslin, promising to continue killing. He called his victims pretty girls, said he couldn't stop, and ended with phrases like, "I'll be back. I'll be back." These letters intensified the panic. The killer not only murdered, he mocked, turning collective fear into a spectacle, while exposing fragments of a fractured mind. Psychiatrists later diagnosed Berkowitz with paranoid psychosis, delusions of persecution, and near-total disconnection from reality. But the question remained, did he truly believe the voices, or was it all an act to justify his bloodlust? Some experts believe the delusions were real, though he was aware that his acts were condemnable. Others say he used madness as a shield, a way to mythologize his crimes, becoming more than human, a horror character. Son of Sam became synonymous with panic, a nickname carrying not just death, but the terror of senseless evil, of a malevolence without reason, simply obeying voices. While David Berkowitz fed on the terror he caused, the NYPD launched one of the most intense manhunts in its history. Over 300 investigators focused solely on the case. Son of Sam was whispered in homes, debated in papers, and feared on streets. The pressure on police was immense. Detectives analyzed patterns, crime locations, times, weapon type. Over 1,000 suspects were questioned. Berkowitz always seemed one step ahead. He left no fingerprints, made no mistakes, until the day he left a parking ticket on a car near a crime scene. That car was registered to David Berkowitz. The Ford Galaxy was often parked near attack sites. A Yonkers police officer found the owner's behavior suspicious and alerted investigators. Cross-checking data showed Berkowitz had received tickets at times coinciding with attacks. Too strong a coincidence to ignore. On August 10, 1977, Berkowitz was arrested outside his apartment. In his car, police found the .2044 caliber revolver, maps with routes, ropes, and duct tape. He was ready to kill again. When approached, he smiled and said, "You got me, I'm the Son of Sam." The arrest brought collective relief. New York finally breathed, after over a year. Streets filled with voices again. Young women ventured out without fear. And the monster who claimed to hear a dog's orders was silenced behind bars. David Berkowitz's trial was one of the most publicized of the 1970s. He didn't deny the crimes. He confessed to nearly all attributed murders. His behavior oscillated between disturbing calm and delirium, reinforcing the image of a disturbed yet calculating mind. Berkowitz was sentenced to 6 consecutive life terms, ensuring he would never walk New York's streets again. For years, Son of Sam remained isolated and enigmatic in prison, rejecting visits and keeping a low profile. However, the story took an unexpected turn. In the 1980s, Berkowitz claimed to have found faith, converting to evangelical Christianity inside prison. He became a preacher, writing about redemption and repentance. Despite his transformation, victims and the city never forgot the terror he caused. Berkowitz's legacy is a dark reminder of how evil can hide behind normality, and how the human mind can battle between reason and delusion. Son of Sam is more than a name. It's a symbol of fear, madness, and human fragility. David Berkowitz's story remains alive not just as a criminal case, but as a profound study of what happens when a man loses himself to his demons. David Berkowitz was not just a serial killer. He was the symbol of irrational fear that paralyzed an entire city. He showed that evil can hide behind common faces and routines, and that insanity can manifest in terrible, unpredictable ways. His victims were young lives taken abruptly in a string of nights marked by violence and panic. New York streets were never the same after the Son of Sam. The name still echoes as a warning, as a shadow of what the human mind can become. But between madness and redemption lies the reminder that evil, when confronted by justice, can be stopped, and that cities can eventually heal. If this story impacted you, like the video, share it with someone, and subscribe for more true crime stories. In the comments, tell us, do you believe Berkowitz was really possessed by voices, or was it all part of a macabre game?